you were a cowboy, I would trail you.
Katie Melua ute med sin tredje plate, Pictures, og i motsetning til de første albumene ville hun denne gangen lage et konseptalbum, inspirert av kultregissør Quentin Tarantino.
I mean, and the reason for that was because I've always loved the music in his films. So it was kind of inspired by the idea of, let's say, what if there was an album that was almost a soundtrack to a Tarantino film? But what happened is that we couldn't finish the album that way because it's very difficult to write all the songs to that like specific sort of role. And some of the good songs that we wrote didn't fit that role, so I didn't really want to throw them out. So what we did is we just essentially switched to then just writing a good album. But this idea of the film still influenced the record, and that's why you have a lot of filmic themes, and so there's a loose concept in there, and we've never had a concept on any of the records before. And then Send is Send Savar, yeah?
Fredag svarte artisten på spørsmål fra VG-netts lesere tett på nett, og mange ville vite om hun fortsatt var single.
They keep asking it. It's so funny. I find it really frustrating that people focus on that. I know that's really, is that a bit kind of, it's so cliched that I say that I don't want it to be about my looks, and I don't really want people to talk about that aspect of things. I'm just trying to focus on my music and talk about that. So I can't really marry the Norwegian boys.
So I read in another interview that you've been quoted that you've been smoking recreational marijuana for writing songs. What can you tell us about that?
It's very frustrating that has become big news. It's something, I have said in the past and that I have done in the past. I definitely don't do that to be creative. I don't think you need drugs to be creative. You know, if you're an artist, you should be able to just be inspired and be influenced by life. What frustrates me is that because I've said that and it's in the press, there might be, you know, young kids who maybe look up to me and who might think it's all right to do that. And, you know, I really don't want to endorse drugs in the press. What I do at home is, you know, I can do whatever I like at home, and I'm not going to lie and say I've never done any drugs. But, you know, I acknowledge the fact that they're very risky and they're bad for you.
If you were a sailboat, I would sail you to the shore.
So how do you work when you write songs?
I sit down on the piano with the guitar, and normally I need to be inspired by something, either an experience I go through, or a book I read, or a film I watch, or a story someone tells me, or even if I'm just walking about and I see, I don't know, a tree that kind of catches my eye, and then you let your imagination run and you think about, I don't know, what's inside that tree, or where's that tree been, and anything can inspire you. So then you go to your instrument and you think of sentences, phrases, try and put into words what you're feeling, which is quite hard to do. I find it easier to put into music what I'm feeling, and that's why when I co-write, I tend to write with people who are better at lyrics, because music is much easier for me than lyrics.
And then we have one last question. It's inspired by your current single, that is number 14 here in Norway. What would you do if you were a sailboat?
I would probably... Well, if I was a sailboat, I couldn't do this, but if I was a submarine, I'd go to the bottom of the ocean, because I'm fascinated by marine life, and I'd love to see weird and wonderful species. And I love that we haven't even discovered that we know more about the moon than we know about the deep oceans on this planet, so that's what I'd like to do.
If you were a